Hey everybody, this is Brian here. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to get right into it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, as you know, every day. We got a couple of articles I want to get into, but first, I want to read a passage here. It's in Revelation chapter 1, and it's going to start in, let's see, verse 12, Revelation chapter 1, verse 12. Then I turned. This is John. He's been exiled to the island of Patmos, and he's there. Got a garrison of Roman soldiers guarding him. He's probably in his 80s. He's the last surviving disciple, apostle. He's the last one, and he's there just minding his own business on the day of the Lord, the Sabbath, and God shows up. What do you know? God just shows up. And is it God ever showed up in your life here and there? He has with me. And if you're saved, he showed up for sure, because you know him in your heart. And if you don't know him in your heart right now, with all the stuff going on in this cray world, you need to know him. I mean, I want, if I could beg you to ask him in your heart, I would, and that would work, I would do it. But I can't. It's your own decision. One of these days, all of us are going to die, or the rapture is going to happen. It's going to be the end of an age. He's going to separate the sheep from the goats. The goats are going to go into eternal destruction. The sheep are going to go to heaven. If you know the Lord in your heart, you're a sheep. Who's the great shepherd? Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach. He's the great shepherd. And that great shepherd is about to come to this planet and deliver us from the craziness that's going on here. The church will be whisked away in a pre-tribulation rapture up into heaven. For 7 years, we're going to be up there while all hell breaking out down here for 7 years. We're going to be worshiping Jesus Christ. The world's going to be worshiping the Antichrist. Talk about a contrast between dark and light. You couldn't get any more of a contrast than that. And that moment of that pre-tribulation rapture is almost here. If you don't have Jesus in your heart and that rapture happens, you'll be left behind. If you probably will not survive, you could, but there's a good chance you're not going to survive those 7 years. And that means if you die in your sin, you'll go to hell. And then there's hell is obviously just the name of hell describes it. But gnashing of teeth, pain 24/7. You're not with your drinking buddies. You're by yourself. You're in a flame, a physical fire, but your body can't die because it's already died. So it's a supernatural body that can take pain forever, but never have relief. And the worst part of it all, and there is a worst part, when you're there, you finally realize who Jesus is, but it's too late. It's just too late. Don't let your upbringing about religion keep you from going to heaven. Ask God to show you who he really, really, really is. Not religion, not all the stuff you see on TV, not fake Christians, not fake churches, not whatever, who else is in your life that you just think, oh, they're fake. Ask him to show you, because when you get there, they're not going to be with you to give an account to God. You are. In this time of Jacob's trouble, the 7-year tribulation is about to start any minute, any second. I may not be able to even finish this video and upload it. I hope not. No offense to you guys. I love you guys a lot. You know I do. I really, really do. But I'd rather go to heaven than do another upload on a video. I'll podcast from the throne room. How's that sound? I'll have a little corner off to the side, my little I'm awake or you, a little banner, my little table, and I'll do a little podcast and I'll send it out to you in heaven. Can you imagine? No, that's not going to happen. Oh my goodness. What is waiting for God's people? Whatever you are in the world right now, you're waking up and get your day started, or you're going to bed and it's the middle of the day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no time zones with God. There's no language barriers with God. There's a common denominator that brings us all together, of every language, every tribe and nation. What's the common denominator? Jesus Christ and him crucified. Him crucified. And raised up on the third day. Death couldn't hold him in the ground. What kind of power is that? That's the same kind of power that's going to change your body and give you a glorified body and wish you to heaven at the speed of light. And you're not going to be floating around with no body. You're going to be, how do I know you're going to have a body? Because we're going to see Jesus as he is. We're going to be just like him. Was he a spirit floating around after the resurrection? No. He appeared in the upper room. He was in the Sea of Galilee cooking fish for the disciples. Were out on the boat, couldn't catch any fish. Hey, cast it on the other side. Who is this guy? They're thinking they didn't get it. And then finally they realized who he was, and they jumped in the water and swam ashore. And that's that conversation, that awesome conversation that Jesus had with Peter, who denied him 3 times. Denied him 3 times. And just a few chapters before, I'll never deny you. I'll do this, I'll do that. And Jesus said, no, before the cock crows, you're going to deny me 3 times. And he did. And then Jesus cornered him on that beach. Peter, do you love me? Yes, you know I do. Peter, then feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Yeah, you know I do. Well, then feed my lambs. Peter, do you love me? He's all irritated and agitated. Why do you ask him 3 times? How many times did Peter deny him? Peter didn't get it at that moment, but I think he did right after. Oh my goodness, this is how many times I denied him. He asked me 3 times. Did Jesus blast him? You betrayed me, you did this, you abandoned me. Did he say that to any of his disciples? Not one. Except Judas, who betrayed him, who was prophesied and was foreseen to do that in scriptures. So Jesus doesn't condemn you this morning. He doesn't hold anything against any of us. Why? Because his blood washes sin off of us. When God the Father looks down from heaven, and believe me, he looks down from heaven. You don't think you're being watched? You know, I did a podcast a while ago. I don't remember the stats. I think don't quote me the exact number. I'm not out there counting these things. 40 billion cameras watching us around the world. Maybe 40, maybe more, maybe 50 billion. 40 to 50 billion closed circuit TV cameras on buildings, not counting the ones in your homes. These are just in public, watching us. But you know who's got a camera on us 24/7? Even when we sleep, even if we're in a cave a mile deep in the earth, even if we're on another planet, even we're at the bottom of the ocean, you know who sees us? God sees us. He's the ultimate camera, literally. He sees all of us in all our situations, all at the same time. How does he do that? And not only does he do that, but it's like we're the only one he sees. We are precious to him. Oh, you can do sermon after sermon what I'm talking about right now. I could go off on this. It's unbelievable who God, the person of God, is. God the Father. And this person who has all this power, all this strength and wisdom is your dad. He's your dad. He's my dad. You think when you're going through the trials you're going through, and I know some of you are, you think, I've thought this, he doesn't see it. Why hasn't he delivered me? No, he sees it. What does Psalm 34 say? The righteous cry out and God delivers them from all their troubles. God is close to the brokenhearted, Psalm 34, and delivers them. You may be crushed in spirit. What Psalm 34 say? God delivers him and is close to the brokenhearted. He's attentive to their cry. He's attentive to our cry. And all the stuff being thrown, this little brain inside our heads, all this stuff being thrown every day at us, which eventually goes into our emotions and our feelings and our body. We get sick, we get stressed out, we get stuff because our body's just fighting off the stress. God's here to tell you today and to tell me it's almost over. This fight we're in, it's almost finished. And guess who wins? And guess who's already won? We've won. Why? Because he's won. There's so much prophetically going on, it's just incredible. I hear other podcasters say the same thing. I'm thinking, am I the only one saying this? And I watch Jason, Truth Seekers. He's awesome. Tom, Watchman River, different ones. And they're saying the same thing. I'm thinking, no, I'm not the only one saying it. We are living in unprecedented times in human history. You heard me right. Human history. There's never been times like this. And there never will be again, because the events that are unfolding before us right now are pointing to a pre-tribulation rapture, which is just around the corner. I don't know how else to say it. I'm going to say it every day, and I do, don't I? I can see you guys, oh man, you're turning the volume down. Brian's losing it again. Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm sick of this place. Are you kidding? Do you notice I don't whitewash stuff? I just kind of just say what I'm thinking. I try to filter myself. It's hard. But no, I'm sick of this place. And you know what else I'm tired of? False teachers and pastors out there that don't talk about this stuff. That's what I'm tired of too. I turn on some radio stations, or I see it on the net, or TV, wherever. You guys know. Look what's going on, and nobody's talking about it. It's the elephant in the room in the church. It's like, you guys, this family, I'm so glad I got you guys. You know why? I'm so glad. Because I get to talk to somebody who gets me. You guys get me. You're going, what's wrong with you today? I'm just excited that the Lord's about to come back. I'm getting giddy. You know why I'm getting giddy? And I haven't had coffee yet. I can't blame it on the caffeine rush. I've had nothing to eat this morning. What time is it here anyway? I had 7:58 West Coast time in California. No. I cannot believe what's happened in the last 3 weeks. There's a 7.4 earthquake. I think it was in Chile. I don't remember. I have it down here. I'm just guessing. 7.4. We're having 7.0 earthquakes all the time. Oh, yeah, 7.0. 7.0. It was a 7.1 that knocked the Bay Bridge down in the 1980s. I think it was 89. That was a big deal. Now we have them all the time. Oh, yeah, another earthquake. Heck, the hill that I'm living on, you can look me up on a map. Rancho Palos Verdes, Southern California. We're almost, not directly, but we're pretty close across from the Catalina Islands, Avalon Islands. And I live in an apartment, and I have a view of the Pacific Ocean. And it's a couple miles away. We're not on the beach, okay? And that whole section of hill is coming down. And I mean, there's tens of thousands of people who live up here. And was about a year ago, it was on the news. You can look it up. Rancho Palos Verdes, it's on the net. A bunch of houses just started, a big crack opened up. They said it was a water break. It's like, oh, that wasn't a UFO you saw in front of you. No, those weren't aliens in Vegas. Those were some people from Kansas City just hanging out, having some fun in the backyard. Oh, come on. They just, the guy on the roof that was shooting at Trump, the roof was too steep for the snipers to get him, because the roof was too much of an angle. Come on. I'm just using examples here. Like I said, the government's a bunch of teenagers running our country. We're making a bunch of lies up, and they can't even keep them straight. It's the same thing with natural events. The government is lying to us about the weather. They're not really reporting the weather like they're holding things back. Guys, come on. And you guys in the Midwest, actually all over the world, everybody watching me, because some of you have experienced it firsthand, the weather is intense and changing. The UV rating here in the Southern California is 11.1. It's like almost to the 12, where it doesn't go any higher. And it's early in our season still. I mean, it can be 70 degrees here, or 60s. Along the coast, it can be in the 60s. And if you walk outside and your skin starts burning, and I grew up in the sun, and it just starts burning my skin. People are talking about it. Why is the sun burning my skin? It's only 65 degrees out here. Hello? The sun, the big ball of fire in the sky, is acting up. I wonder why. Could there be another object in our solar system 10 times the size of Earth, or 4 or 5 times the size of Jupiter? Because they're not sure. Could it be traveling through our galaxy at almost 100,000 miles an hour, pulling a bunch of planets and asteroids with it? I don't know. Could be. Solar flares are off the charts. I wonder why. What controls the weather? I tell you what, man gives himself too much credit. You know why the weather's changing? The sun in the sky is changing. You want to talk about global warming? There's a time coming in the book of Revelation, the sun will scorch men with intense heat. And that time is almost here. And there's actually parts of the world that's happening. I'm just so excited that my hope is almost here. Your hope is almost here. Just a little longer. How long? I don't know. I really don't know. I can tell you we're in the season. I can tell you we're in a time frame of high watch for the rapture high watch time. Until he comes, it's going to be high watch. And it's getting more and more every day. The things that are going on, you know, I don't even have to read you guys stuff. You already know. You see it on television. You're men and women of God, the believers on this channel. You know the scriptures probably better than I do. I'm just a voice on a camera proclaiming what you already know. And we're soon going to be in heaven in that throne room. I want to read something here. I've got totally went off what I wanted to do. I just went cray-cray on you guys. It's just been in my heart. I laugh and joke a lot, but I'm a serious guy. Believe me, I take this life very serious. And I take very serious what I say on this channel and what I read on this channel. This is first Revelation chapter 1, verse 12. Then I turned to see the voice that was speaking with me. Having turned, I saw golden lampstands, and in the middle of the lampstands I saw one like the Son of Man, clothed in a robe reaching to his feet, and girded across his chest and with a golden sash. His head and his hair were like white, like wool, like snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire. His feet were like burnished bronze when it has been made to glow in a furnace. And his voice was like the sound of many waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and out of his mouth came a sharp 2-edged sword. And his face was like the sun shining in its strength. When I saw him, I fell at his feet like a dead man. And he placed his right hand on me, saying, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last and the living one. And I was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys of death and of Hades." You know who this is. He was dead. He makes it very clear in this. He's making a statement. First he says, don't be afraid. Who's he talking to? You and me. Why? There's a lot to be fearful of. But then he goes on, I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead. And behold, hey, look at me. I'm alive. They tried to kill me. They put me in the ground, even put me in the ground for 3 days. But my Father raised me. I'm alive. Forevermore. Never going to die again. He only had to die once. And I have the keys of death and Hades. He's showing his authority. You know who's got the key to the prisons of hell? Jesus does. Not Satan. He has the keys of death and Hades. The Antichrist in the future is going to be thrown into the lake of fire which burns with brimstone. So is Satan. Eventually, all the unsaved will be thrown there. It's called the second death. I'm telling you again, you need to ask Jesus in your heart. Time is short. If you knew you had cancer, and some of you might, and you had a certain time of period to live, 6 months, you're gone, how would you live the next 6 months? What would be different? Would the bills be much pressure on you? Would relationships that are going south on you, would they be Would you treat those people different? Would you handle it different? Of course we would. We'd be getting our affairs in order because we're going to be leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, get your affairs in order because you are about to leave. I just lost for words. When you read something like that, what am I supposed to say? I'll let the scriptures say it for me. I guess this is going to be a little more scripture reading today. Revelation 19. Verse 7. Let us rejoice and be glad and give glory to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. It was given to her to clothe herself in fine linen, bright and clean. It was given to her. She didn't buy it. She didn't already have it. It was given to her to clothe herself in fine linen, bright and clean, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. Then he said to me, Write, blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are true words of God. Then I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, Do not do that. I am a fellow servant of yours and your brethren who hold the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So this marriage supper of the Lamb we're going to be at during the tribulation. And the tribulation is about to start. And if you're pre-trib like I am and like a lot of you are, then the rapture happens before. So if we see the world getting ready to blow itself up and go into the tribulation on every aspect of prophecy, the monetary system, world war, diseases, pestilence, political upheaval, moral decay. I mean, you name it. Come on. We all know. We all know. How close is the rapture? Verse 11. Now we've been in heaven for 7 years. 7 years we've been there. But now, here we come. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it is called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he judges and wages war. His eyes are a flame of fire, and on his head are many diadems, and he has a name written on him which no one knows except himself. He is clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which are in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, were following him on white horses. Hello? That's us. From his mouth comes a sharp sword, so that with it he may strike down the nations, and he will rule them with a rod of iron. He treads the winepress of the fierce wrath of God, the Almighty, and on his robe and on his thigh he has a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I'm going to go down and read verse 20. We're in heaven for 7 years. We come back. There's a marriage supper of the Lamb I just read. We come back in verse 11 with him on white horses. You're going to be on a horse. You know, these aren't metaphors. Okay, the book of Revelation, it says like the 7 spirits, the 7 lampstands, the 7 bowls. It explains what they are. The book of Revelation is actually not that difficult to interpret. What people do is they make it what they want it to say. But if you take it for what it says, it's plain and simple what it says. It interprets itself pretty much. There's a few things in there. Yes, I get it. There's a few things in there, but most of it is pretty black and white. So we come back with him in Revelation 19:11. And then, so the tribulation's over. Jesus comes back, defeats these armies of the world. And then, verse 20, and the beast was seized. With him the false prophet, the Antichrist and the false prophet were seized, who performed the signs in his presence, by which he deceived those who had received the mark of the beast and those who worshiped his image. These two were thrown alive into the lake of fire, which burns with brimstone, and the rest were killed with the sword which came out from the mouth of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh. All Jesus has to do is speak, and people die. Think about all the weapons we have, nuclear weapons especially, because everybody knows how powerful those are. We actually have weapons more powerful than that, but that's another podcast. But let's just take nuclear weapons. It can turn the desert sand into glass. It'll vaporize you so much, it'll put your shadow on a building. Hence Japan. But all he has to do is speak. If God is for us, who is against us? And I'll finish with this. You are blessed. You know the Lord in your heart. You are blessed. Come on, Brian. There we go. Just 1 minute, folks. Sorry. I'm going to read 3 different paragraphs from Revelation 22. This is all red letter. And behold, I am coming quickly. Blessed is he who heeds the words of the prophecy of this book. 12. Behold, I am coming quickly, and my reward is with me to render to every man according to what he has done. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the first, the last, the beginning, and the end. Verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things for the churches. I am the root and the descendants of David, the bright and morning star. The last thing in red that Jesus says in Scripture. Yes, I am coming quickly. Think of the things above today. When you're getting railed by somebody, you get an argument, walk away. It's hard. Think of the things above, not the things below. Didn't get articles again. But it's okay. You guys have phones, you have TVs, you have iPads, and tablets. You guys know what's going on. But we're almost out of here. We are almost out of here. Enjoy this day, for this is the day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. Tomorrow's Sunday. If you can go to church and worship like you've never worshiped before. Because it may be your last day on earth. Let the Lord catch us in church worshiping him with truth and spirit. Guys, I love you guys. Thank you for all your comments. And I don't know what else to say. I can't wait to see all of you. And I can't wait to see him. And this is Brian out. I'll see you in the clouds. Bye-bye.